lot of lives today. Normally on Wednesdays, I do one show. And today my guest was Dr. Dawn Hodder, and we actually got to do it here in the studio. And normally what I'm doing is virtual because they're just not, the possibilities of getting together in the studio are rare, and not always are my guests from where I live. But Dr. Hodder does live here in Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland, Canada, depending where you are watching from. You now know where I am. And so I had the opportunity to sit down in the same room with him and do the interview. So it was really fun. So instead of doing just one, we actually did two. And that was amazing because quite often in the 27 minutes I have for an interview, there's not really time to always get everything covered that you want to cover. So we more than covered things today. And it actually was so much fun to sit there and not be talking to that light on the camera, but actually be talking to a person. And I think there's an energy that comes from that. And maybe we are all beginning to feel a bit of fatigue from all this online, but it happens to be where I am and what I'm doing. So don't get too fatigued. Please keep watching. However, it was fun. So after the two shows, he did an author reads and we chatted more. And then we went on Instagram, which was his first time going on Instagram, which was kind of fun. And we did that as well. And so that brought me to wanting to take a few minutes to go live and talk about going live anywhere, anytime. And quite often when people think of going live, they think of a lot of planning. They think of when they're going to do it, how they're going to do it, where they're going to do it. But sometimes while you're doing all that thinking and planning, the moment has passed. It's gone by, and that momentum or that idea and inspiration is no longer there. So what we have to aim for is getting to the point that we can go live anywhere, anytime. And I have that spelled correctly. Yes, I do. Go and do it comfortably and confidently. I just finished a series of articles that I wrote for NLO, which is the Newfoundland and Labrador organization of women entrepreneurs. Long. And in the articles, I discuss ideas for going live and how you can do it and tools you can have. But the final article is where I talked about the reviews, which are the final part of going live. If you want to work on what you're doing, you do have to go back and watch yourself. Do you know how common it is for people to not want to watch themselves? If they do it, the last thing they want to do is actually sit down and watch themselves. And I get that. I have been there and felt like that, especially when I first started doing programs with Rogers TV. I do the shows, but I never really wanted to watch the shows. But I thought, I'll have to watch the shows because if I don't watch them, how am I going to improve and find things that I can do possibly better, ask better questions, create better engagement with my audience and my guests? It does require watching. And then I thought, why is it so hard for us to watch ourselves? Is it because we're not as cool as we think we are? And then when you see yourself in front of you, there it is. There you are. And so in my research, I found an article, which I don't have it with me now, but just the gist of that article is that we don't see ourselves as we appear on a screen. So we're used to seeing a mirror image of ourselves, and that mirror image is what we're comfortable with. None of our faces are symmetrical. Maybe one eye is higher, lower. We're not perfectly symmetrical. Maybe some of us, but most of us aren't. So when we are used to that mirror image, when we see a video image, which is different, it's our eyes don't see it. Our eyes think that this is different or uncomfortable, or that's not me, or I don't sound like that. I'm sure I don't sound like that. What we hear in our head is different than what we hear on video. So all these reasons come together to make you feel uncomfortable watching yourself. And so truly to feel that way, is not unusual. And there are some very good reasons, as I've just given you, why it feels like that and why we feel alienated from that person that is us. But it is important, once you have gone live and you've grabbed, you've got your surfboard, the big wave is coming, you go with it. The inspiration has hit, go live, do it. And then go back and check it out. These are what I call the reviews. So at that point, you can slow it down and you can say, okay, did I make good engagement? How was my eye contact? How was my body language? How was the equipment I used? Starting out, I say, don't worry about that. The most important thing is done. Get it done, than never to do it. So perfection is never as good as done. And keep that in mind. But as you move along, you can look at things, your equipment, your lighting, your sound. So you can check that in reviewing your presentation. The best thing to do, I think, is the first time you do it, watch the whole thing right through. Just sit there and watch it and get over yourself, because that's the tendency we all have, is to pick at this, pick at that, pick at this. So just get that out of the way first, watch the whole thing, then go back on subsequent replays and start to check these other things, such as positioning, communication, language, clarity, all those kinds of things. And then you can gradually put together a list that you can work on. And let's see what else I had in that article. Well, that's what I call the deep dive, when you really go in and check those things like sound and lighting. And then you can go back again and review your video for social media potential. Maybe there are clips, maybe there are things that you can pull and share that will be of interest to other people. So again, repurposing your content, super important. And that's one of the things you can pick up on the replays. And of course, you want to go a little bit behind the scenes, check your analytics. That would be a whole other topic that I can go into sometime. And again, something that I'm learning a lot about, particularly in my writing. And I've been a writer my whole life, but I have never really written for the SEO optimization. And so I'm learning that. And in the course of that, I'm also learning about analytics and so on. So did I start doing that? No. Did I start with all these things? No. But I did go live. And of course, what you can also do is ask the people, your audience, how did I do? How did you enjoy it? So I can ask you now, how am I doing with these instructional videos? Are they clear? And are you getting some ideas? And if you have questions that have been inspired by what I've said, then please do enter them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. If I don't have the answer, I'll find it out. I am learning as I go along as well, but I feel at this point there are some things I can share, and those are covered in this topic called the reviews. Go live anytime, anywhere, just do it and get used to seeing yourself and listening to yourself on live video. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's message. I'm Catherine Taylor, and keep going live and check out my channel at YouTube, Catherine Taylor TV. Lots of interviews and videos there from the past 3 years. And I'd love it if you could like and subscribe. Have a great day. Thanks for listening. Bye.